Welcome to the Roving Reporter segment of Impact, where we spotlight special events and organizations that are making a difference in the Capital Region. This week, we're spotlighting the 15th Annual Black Family Technology Day at RPI. It was another huge turnout as African American families throughout the Capital Region District and beyond came out to attend the day's festivities.
It's a very gratifying circle of African American intelligentsia, very uplifting, very stimulating. My son graduated from RPI. I have my t-shirt, my shirt on, and I feel like this is the place to network and, remind us of what we're capable of and where we come from.
Special guest speaker Congressman Paul Tonko's message focused on self-discovery and the country's need for more engineers to compete with other nations.
We're all here for the magic of the moment that comes with self-discovery, which I think education pronounces. Self-discovery. To realize what are those gifts placed within my vessel? What are those passions? What are those lights? What are those strengths? What are those abilities? Education, higher education, unlocks those challenges to you and allows you to understand better who you are. And why is it important to do forums like this? Because we are woefully underproducing the engineers required by society. As an engineer involved in politics, I'm worried about that. And there are people at this campus that provide the inspiration, that allow for the awareness to be struck. We need those engineers, especially when other cultures are moving aggressively to produce their science and engineer-based professions. We can't stand still. We need to grow. We need to inspire one another. When asked about where we're headed with policy, as a member of Energy and Commerce, as one who has watched what Science, Space, and Technology as a committee does, as one who has watched what Education and Labor does as a committee, we need to cultivate that talent. We need to bring about the abilities of this nation through her intellectual capacity to respond to that learning curve that allows us to be leaders in this clean energy, high-tech, innovation economy. When I was a young person, much like you in this room that are going to participate today, I was struck by the leadership of John F. Kennedy as our president. He challenged this nation to respond to a global race on space. Now, for those of you who are really young in the room, you won't remember the Sputnik moment. But there was a Sputnik moment where we lost in a competitive race with Russia. We stood up from that defeat, dusted off our backside, and said, never again. Today, learn, discover, advance the dreaming. We should encourage all of you to dream. Encourage all of you to dream because that's when it happens. And there are folks in this room that want to tether those dreams. Make them real in the fabric of your lives. I love the theme of the weekend, the whole STEM Fest 2013. The science and technology, engineering, math, and music, and the arts are going to make you a stronger person.
RPI's president, the Honorable Dr. Shirley Jackson, pointed out 3 changes that has occurred over the past 15 years of hosting this event.
One, I think the black community has been much more engaged and aware of what the opportunities are in the STEM fields. The second is that technology has advanced so much. What is around today, one would not have even thought of, much less recognized 15 years ago. The third is that we still have to press to get more of our young people to study these fields.
And how much has the gap increased or decreased?
Well, I think it depends on how you want to look at it. I think that there are more opportunity pathways, but there's a big economic gap that affects the black community, and that is part of the gap that has to be bridged to get more of our young people into these fields.
Now, could you tell me how this event has evolved over the 15 years?
I think if you look at the way our kids learn, if you look at the technology that's all around us, that's a big indication of how the program has evolved. You have students that actually were in school here, that were attending workshops and volunteering, that are now in industry, coming back, presenting, doing keynote addresses. That type of presence is part of the involvement of the program. But if you look at anything with connecting students to a day-to-day use of technology and research, that kind of identifies how the program has evolved.
What are some of the top the programs that you know that kids are going to be more interested in today?
The plasma research, the laser show is always a big draw. But anything that can put students in a position where they can actually see and do, because we know that's how they learn best. Connecting music and the arts, those programs. But then always, if you can add something like ice cream, that's going to be a big draw as well.
One of the more popular classes was the laser class conducted by Dr. Marshall Jones, a pioneer in this field and a principal researcher at GE Global in Niskayuna. What is it for you that brings you back every year?
Throughout my career, I've always been one that's tried to inspire youth, to let them know, to look into this window of what's possible in technology. I don't just do this here. I go around to the public schools. I've done it nationally. Just want them to have the exposure. The word is exposure. If they don't know what they can be, if they don't know about it, they can't dream to be it. So I've had many students come back and tell me it was things that they've seen me or heard me do when they were younger, and they were ended up being aspiring engineers themselves. So that, to me, that's what, in fact, my pastor once said that was my mission in life.
Another popular class was the robotics class, where we met Josephine, our daughter Jennifer, and 2 of her grandkids.
Most of my children are engineers, and they went into the sciences, and with my grandchildren and my second set of children, adopted children, I want to really encourage them to go into the sciences because they are part of everyday living.
I'm making a recycling robot.
And how are you doing it?
We just use all these cords, and really we use like Lego technology to make it.
Okay, so once you've made it, what did you do next?
We're gonna do mazes to see how we can control the robot. And after we do the mazes, then we're going to play like a game with it. So the red balls and blue balls, and the blue balls are for recycling and the red balls are for trash. And we have to move the blue balls to one side of the room, which is like the recycling plant, and then the trash to the other side of the room, which is like the trash plant.
I like going through the big maze because I learned how to control the car.
I want the students to have the same type of excitement that they might if they went to see Kobe Bryant and LeBron James and those guys play basketball. If they went to a Jay-Z or Beyonce concert, to come back and say, wow, I can do that too. To see students, to see young people that are in industry and working on some of the most advanced technology that really is going to change the world, for these students that are 8, 9, 10, 15 years old in Troy, in Schenectady, in Albany, to come back and say, wow, I can do that too. Or when I grow up, I want to be like them.
It's cool.
What do you enjoy the most?
So far, just sort of learning about the different things that you can do with technology and everything.
The most important feedback that we get a lot of times is from the parents who bring their kids here when they're 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and then see those same parents a few years later saying, this really changed my son or my daughter's interest or perspective on education. They're doing homework more. They're studying more. That's the real impact that this program has. It's one day, but that one day can really connect students, not just to Rensselaer and summer programs that we have or other programs throughout the year, but really connect them to technology and help them see and identify their place in that world.
Well, I came to bring my family. I have 3 children. 2 of them are school age, and they're really into music and the arts and sciences, reading. So any opportunity we have to get them, connected with some hands-on activity and see other people of color that are, in leadership positions and, it's selling in those fields, I try to give them that access.
Well, it's important for my children to get different ideas about career options for them as young black males in science and engineering and technology fields. So it's important for them to be exposed to their career options and their passions at an early age.
All in all, the 15th annual Black in Technology Day was filled with fun for the young and the young at heart.
I definitely encourage families all over to come out next year. I think the sciences and the maths, and sciences are very, very important to progress in our nation. If you've seen the stats, I mean, we're pretty much behind like 17 countries in math. So we got to get out there. We got to change our curriculum. We got to change our focus and just get re-inspired to the sciences. So I definitely encourage families to come out.
In 1999, we had 50 people, and now it has grown to 1,000 plus. So it's been a great ride as far as technology is concerned, science, engineering. My son used to come here, who is now a mechanical engineering student at University of Maryland, Baltimore County, where he's a Meyerhoff Scholar, which is primarily for students who go into STEM and go on for their PhDs. So yes, this has had an impact. We have a long way to go. We've got to really get more women into engineering, particularly women of color, as well as men of color. It's very important because we've got to deal with our defenses here in the country. So yes, I'm very happy. The gap is growing smaller, but not fast enough. We've got a lot of work to do.
It's been great. I brought my two sons here for the Black Family Technology Day. It's our first time here. We've attended the Alpha Phi Alpha workshop, the gumdrop exercise where the students made molecular models with gumdrops and sticks. And we also did a workshop with CMOS, the Children's Museum of Troy. They did a workshop with kids to learn about different textures and nanoscience. So this has been a fantastic day. We appreciate it. We're having a ball. I would encourage everyone to come. Bring yourself, your children, kids in your community, even young adults that you may know. I think all of us need to be more aware of the sciences and how they impact our life, and we need to know these skills because it's not the age of tomorrow, it's today.
Aside from this one-day program here, what are some of the other things that you do throughout the year that involves minority kids and families?
The Bernard Harris Scholars Program. There's a Science Technology Entry Program on campus. There's a Preface Program on campus. We do the STAR Program, Design Your Future Day. Many of these are campus-wide initiatives that are set up to say Rensselaer should be a beacon, is a beacon of promise for these students to say, we're right here in your backyard. Why wouldn't you consider coming, signing up for these programs? Most of them are free or have grants associated with them, so students from lower income families have access as well. It's really about including every group of students. So for students that are from underrepresented majority groups, as Dr. Jackson refers to them, really have no excuse. There's a lot here for them to do throughout the summer and the fall and the spring. The initiative that the students have, that the parents have to pick up this brochure and find that program, call, send an email, go online, go on the website and sign up for it, really is the only barrier. So it's a matter of picking up the flyer and getting the information.
And how can parents and family get this easiest way to get to you?
To get to me personally, if you go to Rensselaer Admissions, I'm the only Michael Moore there. So if you Moore M5 at rpi.edu is my email address. You can contact us at 276-8046, area code 518 in the admissions office. Myself and any of my colleagues in the office would be more than happy to help you identify and talk about admissions preparation, college preparation in general, but also as it applies to Rensselaer, obviously. And then we can direct you to folks that can help you with the summer programs and other initiatives to get minorities involved in science and engineering on campus.
You've been watching the Roving Reporter segment of Impact. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Proctors, bringing the best in arts, education, and entertainment.